Why, hello there. I am on your screen today because I wanted to talk about one Samuel Sulek. It's been a very hot button topic in the fitness space for a good little while now. And of course, gotta tread lightly because he's not just a hot button topic because he's controversial. He's a hot button topic because he's extremely popular. He is basically his own religion at this point, so I do not want to upset any of his loyal followers. But that being said, I am in no way, shape, or form a hater. As a matter of fact, I consider myself to be a fan. And this is not to say that I love everything that Sam's putting out there. You know, I don't love that he's a 21-year-old on steroids. I don't love all aspects of his diet. And though his training is effective from a certain point of view, I mean, clearly he's getting great results from his training, and I'm sure many others would as well. I believe that most people would probably get injured pretty quickly when trying to train with his principles in mind. But all that being said, like, he works incredibly hard. He is on the grind. And, you know, you can be like, oh, he's on steroids and, you know, just discredit his physique. But it's like the man is posting his workouts basically every single day, you know, showing what he's doing in the gym, showing how hard he's grinding. And, you know, and beyond that, he promotes cardio, which is awesome.
Maybe 3% of you guys actually do your cardio on a consistent basis. And honestly, I feel like that's being generous.
He also just comes off as like a good dude, like an awesome guy, like a big brother or like your big lifter friend kind of thing, like a mentor, I'm sure, for many people. And I'm sure that's part of the reason why he's so popular. You know, he's very famous for his car talks. So the fact that I'm doing this talk here in the car, I'm sure is appropriate.
So for the most part, if you're going through shit, as long as you don't, you know, muddle and just kind of stay too down, right? As long as you know you're going to get your ass back up, you'll kind of feel better at the end of it. Plus, that's where you really develop, you know? Like, you don't really build character just by chilling. You know, when shit really goes crazy, that's where you kind of develop as a person. So try not to get too depressed about it.
One of my favorite aspects of what Sam is doing is he's showing that people still have attention spans, because we are in the toxic TikTok era of swipe, 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 scroll, 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 pop your social media content pills, and not ever actually really even like pay that much attention to what you're taking in. Like, people aren't really even enjoying what they're watching online. But Sam shows that people do still have attention spans. People do still want this longer form content. And Sam's videos, they're incredibly minimal in the editing, and not really in a bad way. Like, they're very competently made videos, but minimal editing. Like, there's no quick cuts, no graphics, not even any music outside of his intro music. So yeah, I think that's really cool that we can see through Sam that there's still a demand for more personal videos and not just a bunch of this throwaway stuff. So yeah, I'm a fan of Sam, and I've seen quite a lot of his videos, and I have noticed some glaring omissions from his exercise selection. Like, overall, great exercise selection, but the man's always going on about getting that freaky pump.
Pump? Freaky? Freaky pump. Yeah, it's pretty freaky. Freaky pump? That's freaky. Freaky pump.
And I have not gotten a freakier pump than I have with the 3 exercises I'm going to divulge in this video. And it's not any like necessarily fancy mumbo jumbo, like reinventing the wheel kind of thing, but it's still exercises that I never see Sam, who again is the most popular guy in fitness right now, I never see him doing these. And I'll be real, like, he's never going to see this video, but perhaps some of his fans will see this video, and therefore I can help some of his fans add some exercises to their utility belt that will in fact generate some crazy pump potential. And Sam, he doesn't do a lot of full range of motion training necessarily, like the actual full range. He does a lot of the length and partials, which have shown recently to be very beneficial as far as hypertrophy is concerned. But that being said, I do still encourage full range of motion training, if for no other reason than your joint health as well as just optimal strength building, at least until you get to that point where you can't achieve full range of motion anymore. And at that point, I definitely encourage using the length and partials to keep it going, continue to beat the muscle down. So yes, as far as all the exercises I'm going to show off here go, try and use full range of motion if you can, and incorporate the length and partials as needed. And also, the exercises I'm going to be showing off here, they're all isolation movements, and when we're isolating, we want to isolate, and therefore we don't want something like our grip to be the limiting factor. We're going to be focusing on our biceps, triceps, and deltoids for these exercises, and especially in regards to the biceps and the deltoids movements, using lifting straps I think is going to be in your best interest, especially if you're coming at this as somebody who has bodybuilding aspirations. But I do encourage direct forearm training work, confound it, because we do not want to have a weak grip, whether you're a bodybuilder or a power lifter or whatever. So the first exercise, biceps. You know, you could just sit down and do a regular curl, but to be quite frank, I barely even do regular curls anymore. Pretty much all of my curling is done on an incline because the eccentric stretch, that negative lowering portion and getting all the way full range, that is like the most hypertrophic part of the muscle action. So you really want to milk that. And you could just sit on the bench like a normal person, or you could be utterly insane like me and get all the way up on the edge of the top of the bench there and prop your shoulders up for maximum shoulder stability. And that's going to allow you to just focus on getting those arms opened up nice and wide, big stretch on the biceps. Boom, more focus, more isolation. And similar rules apply for the triceps movement. I love the overhead triceps motion more than any other triceps motion. And, you know, you can do this with a cable, but I found that doing it with a free weight over a bench is mwah. You know, try them all out, but again, if you haven't tried it with a free weight over the edge of a bench, especially if you have your shoulders propped up like I do, it might change things for you. It might change things. But again, make sure you are really getting deep into that stretch all the way. You can't stretch any further before you extend up. And lastly, we are talking about the deltoids, the boulders of the shoulders. And we all know that the lateral raise is the most ideal way to hit that medial head of the deltoid. But we can make it better than just going right up to that kind of horizontal point. You know, we can take things up and go a bit higher, get more range on there, or we can even go all the way up and overhead. So that's a great way to approach the lateral raise, especially with free weights. But the thing about free weights when doing a lateral raise, at the bottom, that bottom stretch, there's really not a lot of tension, if any. You can make it even better still as far as the constant tension goes by using a cable machine. I'm showing 3 exercises here essentially, but there's variations of basically all exercises, and the lateral raise I probably use the most variations of as far as these 3 exercises go. And lately I've been really liking doing the lateral raises with these wrist straps and, you know, hooking that all up to the cables. And then it's kind of a weird setup. You have to, like, you know, turn around and make an X with the cables. But I'm telling you, starting your arms behind in that already like stretched out position and then raising all the way up, the pump has never been juicier. So yeah, that's basically it. 3 exercises, you know, a deep inclined biceps curl, ideally over the top of a bench if you can manage. It does require a bit more shoulder and chest mobility, but if you can manage it, it is kind of a game changer as far as the incline curls go. And then yeah, same rules apply for that triceps behind the head extension. And then of course, our lateral raise variations. For all these, make sure you're staying in control. Make sure you're using weights that you can actually handle. I'll be back on your screen before too long. Don't you worry. Have a great night or day or whatever it may be for you.